how was your experience at Ironman Florida? Did you have any idea what you were getting yourself into?
A little bit of an idea just from following him around in multiple different races and things like that around that he does. And so I had a good idea of it. This time he got me to volunteer at the check-in time where we could check in packets. And then he also was able to get me to do the finish line volunteer, which he wasn't going to be there for, obviously, until after he finished. So I love that. He also knows I love serving and doing different things like that. So he knew I would enjoy it, which I did. I ended up enjoying it a lot. Gave me a different vantage point of the race as opposed to just running around trying to find him everywhere I could. So it made me kind of stand still for a little bit, which actually was a benefit at the end when we were waiting for him. Because at the turnaround point, I wanted to run down and just encourage him, but I was a little nervous that it would make him want to stop and like not keep going. So yeah, there was a little of that.
Gotcha. Well, so speaking on behalf of all athletes everywhere, we appreciate you volunteering your time because the races can't go on without volunteers. And so we definitely appreciate that. So thank you for doing that. Was there a moment where you were nervous for Chris at any point? Was like, we haven't gotten into his race yet, but I know from personal experience, whenever my wife comes to the race, I give her like an idea of I should be here by X or Y or whatever. Was there ever a moment where you questioned, was Chris too fast, too slow, what was going on or anything like that? Like, what is that anxiety like? We don't get the opportunity to talk about that much, about the anxiety of the support team. Because it's not just a chill, casual day.
Right. This race was different than his others. I would say in the past, some of his races, I always have him go, can you just tell me what you think you're going to do for the swim and then the bike and then the run? If you can just tell me that, I can kind of have an idea of when to look for you and to kind of know if you're on track. And so I usually get, there's certain times I get nervous that, is he going to be there at that time? Or is he, I recall one of his races, he was like early on his swim and he's like, I'm early. And I'm like, I know, keep going. So it was just, it's always good to have that. But this race, I don't recall that because I felt like he was right on target with his times, that it really made me feel like he was in the right spot. And that was just because he came off his bike. And so when he finishes his races, sometimes when I just think he just gets emotional just for that, wow, I just did this. And when he came off his bike and became really emotional, I was like, oh my gosh, you have a marathon to do. Keep going. Yeah. And so that made me nervous. And then we had the glitch at the end of the race, which a lot of our friends have talked about, just that pause in the tracker that you're just like, is he okay? Is he stopped? Is what's happening? And it always seems to happen right before that last check, or like right at that last check-in point where you're waiting for them to check in. And because I was at the finish line, I was waiting for that. And so you're just kind of like waiting to find out, is he going to finish on time? Is he going to be there? So yeah, those are probably the only times, but this one he was pretty consistent.
Good. Yeah, because we do believe that the Ironman tracking system is the best in the business, and and we're not just judging against the New York City Marathon tracking process, but just in general.
That one was so bad.
But there are times where it does seem like it's lagging a little bit, and we don't know, is it our athlete that's lagging or is it just technology? And so I was just curious, like what that anxiety was like. But it sounds like you had pretty good expectations. Chris did what he was supposed to do, which was fantastic.